Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a much-needed off week for the Cougars as they rest up for the final stretch of the 25 season. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen, thanks for being with us on the program. The more we talk about it, the more I'm convinced Cincinnati's in a real bad spot coming into Utah this weekend.
The analytics say so, yes.
We didn't really feel that way about the Texas Tech game.
No.
We wondered. But Cincinnati coming to Salt Lake City after Utah's put up 95 over the past 2 weeks at home. Crazy. We'll see, though. Lots to talk about in the world of college football. Our program, of course, is always brought to you by the good folks at Trajan Wealth this hour. Trajan Wealth, TRAJAN Wealth.com for all your trusted local needs in retirement. Let's jump in right here with Bill Bender from Sporting News. He's going to give us some college football updates here. And, of course, it all starts here with The Cut.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Bill Bender, you can read his byline, Sporting News, and get all the updates on college football. Look, across the board, Bill, we're all guessing at this point about how this college football playoff is going to the first rankings next week. Of course, we got to get through week 10 first, but welcome to the program, man. How are you?
I'm right here.
There he is.
Sorry.
There he is. No, it's okay.
Hello.
Yep, now we got you. There you are.
Yeah, I'm here. I was going to say, what gives you guys in Utah? I picked them to win, but that's a good Cincinnati team coming in.
It
Oh,
is.
no doubt. We were actually, to be honest, we were shocked. The Vegas line's 10.5 for Utah.
That's a bit crazy.
ESPN's matchup predictor has Utah winning the game 80.5%. We were actually shocked by all that, too.
Yeah, I think both teams are playing really well. I do believe this is going to be one of the more intriguing games of the weekend because I've watched Cincinnati. Obviously, I live in Ohio, so I throw them on whenever I can. Brendan Sorsby's having a great year.
Yeah.
He had the one interception late against Nebraska. They got greedy in that game, but I've picked against them a couple times this year, and Iowa State's a great example. Then they just jumped on Iowa State, and they've passed every test so far in Big 12 play. You mentioned Utah and how hot the offense has been the last few weeks. I know there's some good SEC games on Saturday, but this one should be fun. It's worth staying. For me, I got to stay up super late, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, Utah loves playing at night, though, and the Utes are really, really good at night. And then when they wear the black unis, it's also kind of an added boost for them. But, I think the thing that's been interesting is that Utah, known for their defense, and obviously, Kyle Whittingham always has a defensive team dialed up, and Morgan Scalley is defensive coordinator. But Jason Beck's been a revelation for him here as an offensive coordinator in year one. They're leading the country in a lot of different categories in the offensive side of things. They're scoring a lot of points. They're getting a lot of yardage. And so when you look at a game like this and you see what the Big 12 has become, because these are just a couple of the teams that are in that insane race to try to get to the Big 12 championship game in Arlington. But who's the odds-on favorite for you out of this conference? Is it still just a world that everybody's living in with Texas Tech kind of leading this thing out? They have the one loss, and everybody knows this thing can get wild by the end of the season.
Yeah, they're still kind of my favorite, but if last year was any indication, you got 5 or 6 teams that could be in this mix. I mean, the thing about Texas Tech is, yes, they would be my pick as a favorite, but they have a tricky game on Saturday. Kansas State's not the Kansas State from September. They're playing a lot better. They've won, I believe, six in a row against Texas Tech, and they've had control of that series, and it's in Manhattan. So you said it. The Big 12 is living up to the Big 12 reputation of high-scoring offenses, minute finishes, those kind of things, and it should be a really fun race. Like I said, I'll take the Red Raiders, but we could do a draft and I'll be happy if you want.
Right now, you can go to the Sporting News and read what Bill Bender has to say about the college football playoff bracket projection for Week 10. And I'm looking it over, and it's interesting because everything changes week to week. And I encourage everybody to go read what you put together here because you got a lot of interesting thoughts. You only have one Big 12 team right now currently, and that is BYU, and that makes a lot of sense with the success they're having, being undefeated. What is the path for two Big 12 teams getting in? Can you see it happening?
I can. It would probably take a lot of ACC carnage. Like, for example, this weekend, let's say Virginia Tech beats Louisville, and then Miami loses to SMU, and you get, like, Georgia Tech could lose to NC State, and then these ACC teams kind of beat each other up to the point. Remember, Georgia Tech has to play Georgia, too. So if you had, like, a 2-loss or 3-loss ACC champion, like they did last year, it's entirely possible. I think the SEC is going to have 4, and I've got a pretty good idea who the 4 are going to be. I'll call this shot now. I think Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas A&M all look really good for the playoff. The only question is whether or not they squeeze in like a Vanderbilt as a 5th team, if Vanderbilt can, like, go out and beat Texas on Saturday, for example.
The way that Texas has played, I'm like, well, why not?
Right.
And the way that Vanderbilt's been playing, like, I was the first to be like, yeah, right, Diego Pavia needs to shut up during the offseason. He's saying way too much, and yet they've backed it up the entire time. What's a bigger shock, Vanderbilt or Indiana right now, what these two teams are pulling off, both top 10? Obviously, Indiana's in a top 3 team, a top 2 team. But in terms of, like, historic, what we expect versus watching Vanderbilt and Indiana be at the top of tables is pretty wild.
I think shocking in 2 different ways. For me, like, Indiana went to the playoff last year.
Right.
So it's not a shock they're good. Kind of a shock to me, they look like they're going out and mowing teams, and we're able to go out and win at Oregon. And I'm actually watching them thinking about, okay, what's this going to look like when they play Ohio State? Like, matching it up and saying, oh, man, that might be a really fun game, as opposed to last year when I kind of knew Ohio State was going to beat them and be the better team.
Right.
Vanderbilt being the headliner every week is a stunner to me. Like, they beat LSU. They were the better team. They hung with Alabama. They had turnovers. You just said it. They could beat Texas, and I wouldn't be stunned. And they have, and Diego Pavia, whether you love or hate that guy, he backs it up on the field, and they take a cue from him. There's no doubt that personality of that team runs through him.
We're watching this playoff thing shake out, but we're almost watching as much of the coaching carousel play out as well. That's been even more intriguing lately, especially after Brian Kelly getting fired at LSU. It's crazy how many openings there are at high-profile Power 4 programs. Of those openings, which one do you think is the best opening, and which one is the one you wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole?
I still think LSU is the best opening. And by the way, covering coaches, it's its own separate beat at this point.
Seriously.
You have 8 Power 5 openings before November 1st, which each of the last 3 Saturdays I've spent writing about a fired coach from a major program. I do think LSU is still the best job. I didn't think the governor would get involved this week, but how wild that story
is.
Is he
ruining that job? Jeez.
That's a great point, because if you're a coach, and here's the 2, not just that one's separate. Yeah, like, okay, what am I doing taking this job if the government, or if the governor, not the government, is going to interfere? And then Penn State, it's like, you're going to go take a job where they just fired a guy that won 70% of his games and in the college football playoff semifinals last year? I mean, that's a question I would ask if I was interviewing.
Yeah.
Be like, what if I have an 8-4 season? You going to fire me too? That kind of thing. So, but LSU, you're going to have top 5 recruiting class, top 10 recruiting class. You're going to have a really good base there. You're in the SEC. I mean, 3 of the last 4 guys won a national title there, and they all had different personalities, from Edo to Nick Saban to Les Miles. So I still think that's the best job out there. And the worst, right now, it's probably – this is debatable because it can change, but I'm wondering what Oklahoma State's going to be without Mike Gundy. I think whoever takes that job is going to have a larger remodel than what they probably think when they get to the door.
Wow. Who's the best guy available out there? Is it just like, hey, James Franklin got absolutely, it was a weird fall off, right? But again, in the national semifinal last year, and by the way, like that's further than Penn State normally would go, right? And on top of it, it was pretty stark to see what his record was versus the top 10 AP opponents over his career. But at the same time, is he just the best candidate out there for teams like Virginia Tech and Oklahoma State? Like, they should be beating that door down to figure out how to get a guy like that in their town, right?
I agree. And again, we can make whatever we want out of the record against top 10 teams and top 5 teams, but I'm not making excuses, but they were underdogs against better Ohio State teams in a lot of those games and better Michigan teams. Yeah, they lost a lot, and he's got to win a couple of those, but if you're Virginia Tech, you should be hiring him.
Well, by the way, you're going to have a losing record against top 5 AP opponents overall. I feel like, because they're typically going to be better teams than you anyway.
Right, and the other part is I always say, when we talk about coaches and their records against ranked teams, it generally comes from the same people who tell you polls don't matter. They only matter when we want to criticize coaches, I suppose. But I'm a proponent of the polls anyway. So, you make a great point there. But Virginia Tech, they should be calling him. If North Carolina were to move on from Belichick, wouldn't you call somebody like James Franklin?
Oh,
and be like,
first call.
I mean, right away. That's the first call.
No doubt about it. BYU, they're in a bye week this week. Perfect on the season. They've had to rally, it feels like, from every game, 14 down to win those games, but they are undefeated. They're atop the standings in the Big 12. You've got them in your college football playoff predictor right now. What are your thoughts on the Cougars and how sustainable this success is, and could they get to that college football playoff?
I mean, yeah, they can, and the big game against Texas Tech next week, obviously. But, it's very familiar. They've been there, done that. They were in the mix just like this last year. Bear Bachmeier, we get obsessed, the casual college football fan might see his number, but, man, he's a tough kid. He really is. The running game's strong. Their defense plays well. They take advantage of turnovers. And it's funny how we were just talking about how offensive the Big 10 is, or the Big 12. But that feels like a game where, Texas Tech and BYU, doesn't that feel like it's going to be like a 21-17 kind of grinded out kind of game between those two when they play?
Could be, for sure.
It's interesting, too, because as you watch how this thing plays out, and, I'm looking at our producer just sent us a flow chart of about 58 different versions of how this conference could end up. But Houston is one of those teams that has only lost one game in conference play. It's the Texas Tech, and they have arguably the easiest route on the way out of this thing. Teams like Houston, do they have a place in a college football playoff if they just kind of sneak their way in a season like this?
Connor Wigman's played really well.
Yeah.
Willie Fritz can coach too, and I can't believe I've gone this far without saying something about how well they've played. That's an oversight by me, but it's funny you mentioned the flow chart. I'll start doing those next week, and I was really bad at Algebra 2 trig in high school, and I feel like figuring out these tiebreakers is somehow harder sometimes. So it will be an interesting thing to see in the Big 12. Houston certainly has a stake in that. And I think the key has been Whitman. He's a former 5-star guy. He's not turning the ball over at all. And they're just playing solid football. They got West Virginia this week. It's a big spread. The Mountaineers have struggled, obviously, in Rich Rod's first year. But Houston, they're just under the radar. And that win against Arizona State, it just kind of slid by everything that happened last weekend. But that was a big win for Willie Fritz.
Yeah, it was, and they've been impressive. Yeah, it's just really interesting atop the Big 12, and the league really wants to get that second team in, but one team that could blow that up for certain is if Notre Dame gets back in the mix. And we were talking about Notre Dame earlier in the show because if they get in the playoff, that obviously impacts the Big 12, could impact BYU, maybe Utah backdooring in. If Notre Dame wins out, are they really a lock, or is that something that people are just assuming, and maybe a deeper look needs to be made because of the schedule that they've been playing during this win streak?
You know what? That's a great point, because when I was running through the 12, I've just kind of penciled them in because I think they will go 10-2, and at a 10-2, it'd be hard to leave Notre Dame out despite that schedule. They would probably argue, hey, we played Miami tough. We lost at the end to Texas A&M. Texas A&M probably in the playoff anyway. The game to circle with Notre Dame to me is Pitt. Pitt's playing really well. They've got good linebackers. They might be able to slow down the run a little bit. They've played better since they switched quarterbacks. And if they knock Notre Dame to 9-3, Notre Dame's out. And then that opens up all sorts of possibilities for the playoff and, for that fifth SEC team or that. I don't know that the Big Ten will get 4 in. I'm close to that conference. And, I think Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon are in. But then USC, Michigan, Nebraska, and Washington all look like they might have 3 losses at the end of the year. The one team to watch in the Big Ten, believe it or not, maybe they'll play Utah in the first round once and for all, and we can watch Iowa and Utah play. Iowa is looking like, if you look at their schedule, the path to 10 wins is there. And Kirk Ferentz, the man finds a way.
Yeah, right now they're 6-2, 4-1 in conference play. We haven't even thought about Iowa. They're not even ranked right now, but that's a good point.
I try not to think about Iowa. That's
a lot of people
rule.
try not to think about Iowa because they think about punting when they do.
I know.
Well, if they can beat Oregon, which is next on the schedule, I think that would get a lot of people's attention.
That's wild.
And they would be able to follow that up with the USC game, so who knows?
Kirk Ferentz finding a way every year.
He's going to punt his way to the college football playoff.
Absolutely. Tight end his way to the college football playoff. Bill Bender, Sporting News, where you can find his byline. Bill, it's going to be flow chart season coming up here soon. So we'll hit you up in the next couple of weeks here when those things get going in earnest, and then we'll pick your brain on those as well. Thanks for hanging out, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, anytime, guys. Thanks for having me on. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Thanks, Bill.
There you go. Bill Bender's awesome. Man, there are teams in every conference that you go, did you consider them? Like Iowa is, I don't know, it's almost insulting to call them the Houston of the Big Ten. I say that with all due respect to Houston, but they've been crap for
it's just
a long time.
They just haven't been in that conversation.
Basketball school.
Right.
But Iowa is just like this steady, like 9-3, 8-4 team. Good job. But, and they'll probably end up there too. The problem is that getting to the Big Ten championship game doesn't actually mean anything.
It doesn't guarantee you anything.
It doesn't guarantee you
unless
anything.
You win it.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that
just ask Iowa. They know they've been to the Big 12 championship game many times,
right? And it
hasn't equaled a playoff.
And it was because they were like, yeah, we won this.
They happen to be in the West Division.
We won this part of it.
Yeah, now we have to play the real good teams.
Very different. And so,
we beat Wisconsin? ?
Man, those tough Nebraska teams in the mid-2000s were tough to get through.
Oh, yeah. In Minnesota? Oh, man.
Watch out for the Golden Goph. All right, we'll take a break.
They rowed their boat.
We'll come back. We've got more to go. When we return, we'll get you hooked up here with we have any more tickets to give away, by the way? Just the one time? It was just for all right, fine. Fine. It's fine. Hey, but on Friday, by the way, guess what we're doing? Giving away stuff. The KSL Sports Zone hooking you up with tickets to the Utah-Cincinnati game coming up. All day tomorrow, every hour, there's going to be a Utah keyword. When you hear that, you text it to 57500, and that's going to enter you to get you in on those tickets to possibly win. All the details are at KSLSports.com. Go check it out right now. Utah versus Cincinnati tickets all day tomorrow on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. We'll come back. We've got our NFL Blitz next. Stay here at 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Oh, man, get excited for this Thursday night game. It's going to be featuring, check some notes. Oh, yeah. Ravens at Dolphins.
Oh, boy.
Hey, but I will say this. I was reading an article today about how there have been 4 teams who have had the record that the Ravens do that have still made it to the NFL playoffs in the history of the league.
2-5 team has made it?
4 of them in the history of the league have made it.
Who are they?
I don't know, but that's less
Did you verify this info?
Well, yeah, because I was reading the articles. They were like, hey, 4 teams have made this, and the Ravens are looking to be one of them. And it's saying in the history of, like, that might have been from when they started off, because they were 1-4 first.
Oh, my gosh, you're right. I have the list right here.
Who is it? Tell me if it's anybody. Has anybody done it in the past 5 years?
Yes.
Have more than one done it in the past 5 years?
No.
In the past 5 years, the Bengals.
No.
No. Who is it?
2020. We all remember that year. The year without fans. COVID. The Washington football team.
Let me put it in quotes.
Yet to be named the Commanders, formerly the I will not say it on the radio. 2020 Washington team.
The Fighting Dan Snyders.
Made it to the playoffs. The Fighting Dan Snyders. Only 7 teams have done it since 1990 out of the 144 teams that started 2-5.
Okay, so not a great number. So the Ravens are going to try to do it. Did we know a status on is what's his name? Lamar Jackson going to play?
Is that still up in the air?
I didn't know what they were saying. He was going to try to get back.
There you go.
Expected to start. Okay.
Yeah, he will be back, so that's verified.
If that's the case, then guess what? The Fighting Tua Tagovailoas are not going to be
big tonight. Big on the Ravens.
Well, look, now they got to turn it up, because I'll tell you, a team that actually doesn't really care is the 2-6 Dolphins.
I'd love to see some Zach Wilson tonight. I hope he gets to that point. Wouldn't it be crazy if we saw Zach Wilson and Tyler Huntley tonight on Thursday Night Football?
What do you have to do to get to that, by the way? Oh, Zach Wilson and Tyler Huntley.
Throwback to 2019. What has to happen in order to see what?
to see Tyler Huntley call the Dolphins poo-poo tonight.
Oh, man, that'd be great.
That'd be hilarious. Yeah, Zach Wilson.
We ain't gonna lose to them.
I told you about Zach Wilson all those years ago. He's so poo-poo. Zach Wilson's like catching strays years later after that. This isn't the game that you love, but still, there you go.
It is a game, and we will watch it tonight because it is a game, because the NFL is king. But that is some craptastic teams facing off tonight.
Does what's his name bring his dog to the games here too? Herb Street, does he bring his dog?
He does. You don't like that, do you? Oh, you're going to be that guy. You're going to be the dog.
Do I like dogs? I love
hater.
dogs.
Dog hater.
I love dogs.
He hates dogs.
I love dogs.
He hates your dog.
I think
he hates Herb Street's dog. He hates all dogs.
Listen,
Alex Kirry hates dogs.
Herb Street uses that dog as his own personal prop, and it's not fair to the dog.
Oh, you think he's exploiting the dog?
Oh, 1,000%. How long did it take him to move on from that dog? The other one who died.
You don't think he's paying that dog a living wage?
Listen, that dog is flying first class everywhere.
That dog has his own agent. Trust me, he's got his
goes.
own contract worked out. He's fine.
I'm just telling you.
He's being well compensated.
It took about 5 seconds for him to be like, this is my best friend. Anyway, I found my new best friend. Like that guy.
He moved on pretty quickly from that dog, didn't he?
It's because the dog has been used as a prop.
Jeez, I wonder.
Just telling you. And by the way, you know who probably hates the hell out of that dog is Al Michaels. Get that freaking thing out of here.
Makes me want to eat a steak.
I mean, I can't verify it, but I think if somebody's going to roll his eyes about a dog being next to him in the booth,
feels like Al Michaels would be that guy, right?
Yeah,
Al Michaels hates dogs.
I would too, and just be like,
Google it.
That's nice. That's nice. Is he? All right, that's a good boy. Anyway,
you don't think Al Michaels takes dogs to Trefani's for sloppy steaks after a broadcast?
No, I do not.
Okay.
All right, Cardinals are facing off against the Cowboys. They are assuming that Kyler Murray is going to be back.
Do they want him back?
Well, they're preparing him to start.
The Cardinals have lost how many in a row?
Yeah, and the Cowboys aren't much better.
No.
Hey, but if you're going to get things ramped up on your offense, if you want to try it out against a team, it's the Cowboys.
No doubt.
They're one of the worst defenses, if not the worst defense in the league. Maybe if you wouldn't have given away one of the best defensive players in the entire world, things have been going a little bit better for you.
Brilliant move, Jerry.
Hey, by the way, Kellen Moore says that Tyler Shuck, he's not just QB1 this week. He's going to be QB1 the rest of the way. They've seen enough of Spencer Rattler.
Until they draft his replacement.
Oh, yeah. No, 1,000%. But I'm just saying.
Next spring. What a disaster.
It is a
in
mess.
New Orleans.
I feel bad for Kellen Moore because.
I feel bad for Taysom Hill. He deserves better.
Yeah, he's had a good run.
Free Taysom. Let him out of there.
Everybody's
Rashid
like.
Shaheed, too.
Just all the locals that we don't want to play for bad teams.
A lot of guys from Utah on that roster. Terrell Burgess plays for the Saints.
Oh, that's right. Didn't
Nephi Sewell. Yeah, Devon Vele's there.
Nephi Sewell plays for the Saints now? I thought he was a Bear.
No, that's Noah, his brother.
Oh, that's Noah. That's right. Oh,
You can't keep track of how many Sewells are on NFL rosters these days.
You got Penne, you got Noah.
If you don't have a Sewell, you can't win a Super Bowl title.
No. Well,
you gotta get a Sewell.
The Saints aren't going to do it. So there you go. Tyler Shuck, he's QB1 for the foreseeable future. Actually, that's a great strategy to be able to get yourself to the number one pick overall in the next year's draft, right?
That's exactly what the Saints are doing. But what college quarterback right now that's going to enter the draft is that guy? I don't think there's a – who do you want? Drew Aller? Cade Klubnik? There's not that elite quarterback prospect available in this year's draft. It's not a good year to be bad.
Carson Wentz, he's the one who says that he didn't take himself out of that game the other day when his shoulder was killing him. The season-ending shoulder injury, by the way.
I feel bad for Carson Wentz.
I do too, because that's a guy. Think about where things started.
Oh, my gosh.
You're at which Dakota State did he go to?
North Dakota State.
You go to North Dakota State University, and you are like, I mean, he skyrockets up those lists, right? And he gets drafted. And my heavens, he started out. I mean, he was going to be the league's MVP as a rookie, it felt like.
He was a starting quarterback on a Super Bowl winning team. The problem was he didn't get to play in that Super Bowl because he was injured.
And then Nick Foles shows up and goes, "You'll never remember who the starting quarterback of this season was beginning of the year because you'll remember what was the play they ran?
Philly special.
The Philly special. This guy beats Tom Brady. That's all he does over here. That's what you're going to remember.
That was the end of Carson Wentz in Philly, and then he's just been a backup ever since. The dude wants to play. I mean, he wanted to prove he could do it. He got a great opportunity with the Vikings, and it didn't work well because he got injured, and he kept trying to play hurt, and it got worse and worse and worse. And now the Vikings are not looking good. That's not a good football team right now.
The Vikings are taking a lot of heat because they're like, you kept that guy in the game. Like the league's looking at it going, What were you guys doing?
Well, who do they have behind him?
Nobody knows what J.J. McCarthy's deal is.
Isn't that weird?
Like he's
was he hurt that bad?
Well, he's like over on the sideline. People are like, are you noticing him jumping up and down when they're like,
what's going on with
first
that?
downs? Like,
what is up with J.J. McCarthy?
You just pull a. Well, yeah, he's going to start this weekend because you got you got an arm falling off of Carson Wentz.
They're going to throw him out to the Lions. They're going to feed him to the Lions on Sunday.
He's out. JJ's out. We made it.
They're tossing him into the Lions.
It was a good run, but the dad jokes showed up in the third hour of the program.
I came in clutch.
Nice. All right. Did you say that because they're in Detroit and they make cars there?
Maybe.
Playing at Ford Field, they're coming in clutch. Huh? All right. We're taking a break. We got more to go. Unfortunately. Stay with us. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Best and worst on the program brought to you by the good folks at the Doug Smith family of dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Nobody knows cars like Doug. American Fork, Spanish Fork, Linden. I was like, is that the list of best places to trick or treat in the country or whatever it was?
It's in the Candy Belt.
It's in the Candy Belt.
It's a new thing.
Candy Belt that's a real thing, man. I'm telling you. Utah loves their candy. And we do. I'm telling you. When everybody came here and they're like, man, the Mormons, they don't, all of the Dave Portnoy and all the people who came, and because it wasn't just that. Big Noon Kickoff came with like all these other like peripheral, like national shows across the country showed up for this BYU-Utah rivalry game, a couple weeks ago, and they're like, man, this is legitimately an awesome game. You don't know how awesome this game is, and nobody's drinking? That's crazy. They do eat a lot of candy, though. I'm worried about them. They're like, there's a lot of brownies and a lot of chocolate milk consumed by this people.
Sugar is the drug of choice in Utah.
1,000%.
But don't worry.
What?
It's been blessed.
I think you meant refreshments. That's not candy. It's refreshments, right? What's going on with that candy? That's nourishing and strengthening my body. Don't worry about it.
Lay off me, I'm starving.
All right. What do we have here? JJ, best and worst.
New uniforms for the Utah Jazz.
That's your best?
I didn't say it was my best.
Boy.
I just said it.
I'll start with the best, and that is that Matt Rule signs an extension to put the naysayers, put the haters to bed on this whole Penn State talk.
Why is that best?
Because I think it's nice that he's committing to the team.
I think it's nice that Nebraska's throwing away a bunch of money they didn't need to throw away.
I know.
You really thought Penn State was going to hire Matt Rule? And if they are, good. Go find a coach that's not mid.
Nebraska, I don't care who they hire. They're going to be mid for a while. It's just,
isn't it crazy? They're a blue blood.
I know. Well, can you lose? Can you get that? Can you get stripped of that title?
They don't take the national titles away. Sorry, they don't take the Heisman trophies away.
Tom Osborne's statue is going to be. Is there a statue? There should be. Either way, the bottom line is, you can't forget the things that they've done in the past. However,
Tom Osborne is still with us.
Oh, I know he's not dead, but I mean, you can still make a statue for the guy even while he's alive. Make it. I'm a big fan of Tom Osborne. Here's your statue. While you're alive, check it out, man. And it looks like one of those weird ones. You know the Ronaldo one that looks like it's like got a lazy eye?
It's got chiclet teeth.
Anyway. So there you go.
There is a Tom Osborne statue already.
There better be. Come on. The Jazz have rolled out. This is another portion of our show. May or may not be part of the worst, but I don't know.
Make up your own mind if you think it's best or worst.
I'll just say this.
You're free to have your opinion.
The new City Edition jerseys for the Jazz have the gradient look to it. If you haven't looked at it, if you haven't checked it out, they have the mountain blue as the kind of trim around the neck and armpit area. And then it goes like so I guess what would it be at the top there? Kind of a slate gray, and then 6 different colors of, 50 Shades of Gray? Is that what we're calling this jersey?
A lot of women in the state will be familiar with that. No,
they're like beating the door down for this jersey.
I want that.
Give me is that Lowry Markin into the 50 Shades of Gray jersey? Let's go. You know what? New nickname for this jersey is 50 Shades of Gray. Come on.
Well, I have a different nickname.
What is it?
I did some research. It turns out that the color of the new City Edition uniforms is inversion gray.
This is what you picture when you
the Utah Jazz paying tribute to Salt Lake City's weather phenomenon. During most of the NBA regular season, visitors come to enjoy the soupy air.
They go, hey, listen, when I pull out of my driveway and look down into the valley, these are the different colors of gray that I see across the. I mean, these are the colors you see when you're praying for the wind to roll through or a snowstorm so that it can clear up. Here's the thing. We try all sorts of stuff. And you said it too. I go, man, I feel like that's not one I would want. That's not one I'd want. You know what I mean? However, they're not aiming for me, as David Locke would say.
Right.
They're looking for the kids, man. And that's fine. I get it. And by the way, the Jazz, if you look at all the other City Edition jerseys, a lot of other cities are coming up with a lot of other weird stuff for their jerseys too.
So the gray ones are whatever. They're gray.
It's light. It's light gray down to dark gray. You got it.
So my opinion on it is I'm not necessarily down on the gray. I would like to see the Jazz do two things with those City Edition jerseys. Bring back the black mode City Editions that are perfection with the gradient and then the black, which were awesome.
The red and yellow and orange, yeah.
Or just use the City Edition to use throwback jerseys like they did with the Maravich New Orleans.
Is that what you're doing? You're wearing the purple. You're wearing the old school purple Jazz shirt
right now. Yeah.
Just to protest the.
If we're gonna have a City Edition jersey, let's go retro. Let's celebrate the past. Or, and they're doing this with the Salt Lake City Stars. Let's put the Jazz in a Utah Stars jersey from the early 70s.
Oh yeah, the old red, white, and blue.
I know it's not the same franchise.
That's cool though.
I get that. I don't care. Let's give a nod to the basketball in the past. This is a basketball-rich state with an incredible tradition. I want to see a Utah Stars jersey worn by the Utah Jazz at some point. Let's pay tribute to Ron Boone and his teammates from the 70s.
In the meantime, go check out Lowry Markkinen and his 50 Shades of Grey jersey right out there on KSLSports.com.
You're not allowed to see those jerseys.
All right.
It's a little too risque.
Let's take a break. Alex. We got to come back. We got more to go around the corner. Stay with us. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.